Did you know that in 2023, the US government collected over $85 million in application fees from skilled immigrants who were denied visas simply because they chose the wrong visa category? Immigration officers don't tell you this, but your chances of approval can vary by up to 60%, depending on which visa you apply for, even with identical qualifications. The difference between approval and denial isn't just about your achievement. It's about matching your specific profile to the right visa category. And so today, we are tackling one of the most common questions we get from skilled professionals looking to build their future in the United States. Which visa pathway is right for me? O-1, EB1, or EB2? If you're feeling overwhelmed by these options, you're not alone. And by the end of this video, you would have clarity on which path aligns best with your unique background and goals. So, in the next 12 minutes, I'm going to break down exactly how these three powerful visa pathways differ, who they are designed for, and most importantly, help you identify which one gives you the highest probability of success based on your specific profile. Let's cut through the confusion together. Now, before we dive into specifics, let's get oriented with a high-level understanding of each visa category, starting with the O-1 visa. Now, this is a temporary work visa for individuals with extraordinary ability in their field. Now, think of it as the exceptional talent visa that allows you to work specifically for a sponsoring employer or your own company in the US. EB1 visa, on the other hand, is a permanent residency pathway, popularly called the green card, and also for those with extraordinary ability, but with a key difference. With this, you can self-petition without an employer sponsor in the EB1A category. And then the EB2 visa, this is another permanent residency pathway, but with two important subcategories. The standard EB2 requires employer sponsorship and an advanced degree, while the EB2 NIW, popularly known as the National Interest Waiver, allows self-petitioning if you can demonstrate your work benefits the United States. Now, here's the first key insight many miss. These pathways aren't mutually exclusive. In fact, many strategic immigrants use a combined approach, starting with an O-1 to get to the US quickly, then transitioning to an EB1 or EB2 NIW for permanent residency. The question isn't always which one is right, but rather which sequence makes most sense for your situation. Now let's break down each option in detail. So the O-1 visa is designed for aliens of extraordinary ability, but what does that actually mean in practice? To qualify, you need to demonstrate extraordinary ability by meeting at least 3 of these criteria that you must have. You must have received nationally or internationally recognized prize or award, membership in associations requiring outstanding achievement, published material about you in professional publications, judged the work of others in your field, original scientific, scholarly or business-related contributions of major significance, author scholarly articles in major professional journals or major media, previously employed in a critical or essential capacity at distinguished organization, or commanded a high salary or remuneration. The advantages of these options are faster processing. Processing is typically 2 to 4 months standard, or 15 days with premium processing. No annual cap. Unlike H-1B visas, there is no lottery system. As spouses and children can accompany you, although spouses can't work. How about flexible duration? It's initially for 3 years, but can be extended indefinitely, and dual intent allowed, meaning you can pursue permanent residency simultaneously. However, there are challenges too. This category requires employer sponsorship, though it can be your own company, alright? Also, you need higher evidence threshold that must be specific to your field, and there's a temporary status that requires renewal. Now, but who is it ideal for? Now, let me explain using one of the clients we've worked with, Raj. Raj was a machine learning engineer who recently published groundbreaking research and has been invited to speak at major conferences. He's been offered a position at a US startup that needs him to start within 3 months. The O-1 is perfect for Raj because he needs to start working quickly. He has specific evidence of recognition in his field. He's not yet sure if he wants to stay permanently in the US. So the O-1 shines for those who need to get to the US quickly and have tangible evidence of recognition in their field. It's often the first step in a longer immigration strategy. Moving on, let's talk about the EB1 visa. The EB1 visa category is often called the first preference employment-based green card, and it has 3 subcategories. Okay, we'll focus on EB1A for extraordinary ability, which is most comparable to the other options we're discussing. The criteria for this look remarkably similar to the O-1, requiring evidence in at least 3 of 10 categories that largely mirror those of the O-1. However, there's a key difference in how they are evaluated. The advantages of this visa category include permanent residency from day one, no need for renewals, self-petition option, no employer sponsor required with EB1A, priority processing, meaning historically shorter waiting times for visa numbers, no labor certification is required. Also, no specific job offers is also required for EB1A, and your spouse gets work authorization and children under 21 included. But of course, there are challenges also. The EB1A requires higher threshold of evidence, often required than O1, longer processing times, typically 8 to 16 months, more expensive filing and legal fees, more complex documentation requirements. So who is it ideal for? The EB1 path shines for those with substantial evidence of achievement who are looking for permanent status and maximum work flexibility in the United States, like Kojo, for instance, an accomplished biomedical researcher with multiple published papers and patents. He's been working in Canada for years, but wants the freedom to collaborate with multiple research institutions in the United States. The EB1 is a perfect for Kojo because he has extensive documentation of his accomplishments, and now he wants the freedom to work with multiple organizations. So he's planning for long-term settlement in the US, and he doesn't have a specific employer, that are willing to sponsor him. So if your story sounds similar to Kojo's, you might want to consider an EB1A too. Let's talk about the EB2 category. It requires either an advanced degree, like a master's, or exceptional ability in your field. But the game changer here is National Interest Waiver or NIW option. A standard EB2 would require you to provide advanced degree or exceptional ability, meaning 3 to 6 month criteria, job offer from US employer, and labor certification like PERM, proving no qualified US workers are available. However, the EB2 NIW waives both the job offer and labor certification requirements if you can demonstrate that your proposed endeavor has substantial merit and national importance, and that you are well positioned to advance this endeavor. It will be beneficial to the US to waive the job offer requirement. This visa option is great because it has lower threshold than EB1 for qualification, self-petition option with NIW, meaning no employer required, no labor certification with NIW, permanent residency for you and your family, spouse work authorization, and more subjective criteria focused on future potential. But you may encounter some difficulty with long processing times, typically 12 to 24 months, longer waiting times for certain countries, especially India and China, and requirement for demonstrating the national interest angle, and also substantial evidence preparation. Despite these challenges, the EB2 NIW path is a good option for skilled professionals with advanced degrees whose work benefit the US, but who may not yet have achieved the recognition required for EB1. Now let's create a framework to help you determine which path makes the most sense for your situation. Step number 1, assess your timeline needs. If you need to be in the US within 6 months, consider O-1 first. If you're planning 1-2 years ahead, you can aim directly for EB1 or EB2. And if you need to start working while the green card is in processing, consider O-1 and then the EB path. Step number 2, evaluate your evidence strength. Have major awards, publications, high salary, and judging experience, then EB1A is strong. Have an advanced degree and work that benefits US interest, EB2 NIW looks promising. You have recognition in your field but still building your profile. O-1 to EB2 NIW path. Step number 3. Consider your career flexibility needs. If you need to work for multiple employers or start your own business, EB1A or EB2 NIW. If you have a specific employer willing to sponsor you, O-1 or standard EB2. Want to build your case while working in the US? O-1 first, then EB pathway. Then step number 4, factor in your country of origin. From a country with EB visa retrogression like India or China, O-1 might be crucial. From a country without backlogs, direct EB application may be faster overall. Here is a practical example of combining pathways. Many of our clients start with O-1 to get to the US quickly, then use their US-based achievement to strengthen their EB1 or EB2 NIW petition a year or 2 later. The key is understanding that this isn't just about eligibility. It's about creating a strategic immigration plan that aligns with your unique career trajectory. Now, let's summarize what we have covered. O-1, fastest route to US, requires employer. Temporary but renewable. EB1A, permanent status, self-petition option, highest evidence threshold. EB2 NIW, permanent status, self-petition option, focus on US benefit rather than past recognition. The optimal path often depends on 3 key factors: your timeline needs, the strength of your current evidence, your long-term career flexibility requirements, and remember, these pathways can be complementary rather than competitive options in your immigration journey. At Veripass, we've developed AI-powered technology that helps analyze your specific profile against success patterns from thousands of approved cases across all these categories. Our system helps identify your optimal path and evidence gaps before you invest time and money in any specific application. And if you find this helpful, hit the subscribe button and share it with others in your network. It goes a long way in helping us reach talented professionals like yourself. Thanks for watching. See you next time.